Morning everyone, welcome to this video revision lesson. In it we're going to be looking at a few different tasks ultimately leading up to completing an exam style question for Jekyll and Hyde. For the lesson all you'll need is something to write with and something to write on as well as this video. You can use a pen and a blank sheet of paper if you want. You could use a word processor such as Google Docs or Microsoft Word. And I've put a link to a free copy of the slides in the video description below so that you can download them and type on the slides, or even print off the slides and write by hand on or around them. Now on the right hand side in the blue box I've put a link to a free online copy of Jekyll and Hyde that you can use if you want to. It's completely up to you how you prefer to complete the lesson, but just keep in mind that it's the revision of these key skills that's the important thing. So for GCSE English Literature Paper 1, we have a Shakespeare question and a 19th century novel question. Now this lesson is focused on the second half of the exam paper and we'll be looking at the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So to start us off, pause the video and write down everything that you can remember about this question. I've put some prompt questions on the slide to help you out. Pause the video and get started now. So, as stated at the beginning, the idea of this lesson is to remind you of the different parts of the exam question. Then we're going to complete an exam style question, and you can peer assess a response that I wrote and let me know if it's any good. And then you can self-assess your own answer and set some targets of things to focus on during your revision at home. Now on the examiner's mark scheme there are 6 levels, and in each level there are 5 bullet points of things that you need to include in your answer. What I want you to do is to write down in your own words what you believe those 5 things are. They're basically the 5 things that your answer has to have in order to get a good mark. And if you're struggling, rewind this video and read back through the assessment objectives. Pause the video and complete this task now. Now this one seems like an odd question, but it's relevant to the lesson, trust me. So when you're watching a scary movie, what tools does the director have at their disposal to make you feel scared? I'll be quiet for about 15 seconds and give you a chance to get down as many as you can. Okay, hopefully you thought about things like music to create tension, or lighting, things like that. Now they usually work for movies, but movies haven't always been around. People used to rely on stories to get their thrills. So with this in mind, thinking about a novel, what techniques could a writer use to try and make the reader feel scared? Now they can't rely on music or lighting, so what could they do to try and make the audience feel scared? Pause the video and aim to get 4 or 5 bullet points down. Right, the exam question that you're going to have a go at today is this one. Starting with the extract that we'll look at later, explore how Stevenson creates a sense of fear in the reader. Now, you've had over a century of horror movies full of serial killers and zombies and monsters of all different kinds that have progressively got more and more gruesome and more scary. So your idea of what is scary might be different to the audience at the time that Stevenson was writing his novel. So bullet point the parts of the novel that might have created a sense of fear for those readers back in the Victorian times. Pause the video and create your list. And if you're struggling to think of any, consider one of these. I won't read them all out to you, but these are the ones that I thought of initially. And there are definitely others too, but this is the easy bit. The harder bit is remembering the quotations and explaining what it is about that quotation or technique that creates a sense of fear in the reader, linking the quotation to the question. So here's the extract and exam question for today's main task. Pause the video and take 9 minutes to read through the extract and complete the 3 tasks in the blue box. As soon as you've finished, unpause the video and crack on with the next task. And now spend 6 minutes to complete the tasks in the green box. Now, to get the most out of a quotation, it can help to explode a quotation in the style of this slide. Now, what you do is you put your quotation in the middle box, and then you complete the sentences around it in as much detail as you require. If you find this sort of thing useful, feel free to have a go. Now, underneath this yellow box is an answer that I wrote. And some people don't like to be influenced by the things that I've picked out, and some people find them useful. So, if you don't want to be influenced by my answer, feel free to fast forward to the next slide, but make sure you come back to this task after writing your own answer. And for those of you that do want to read my answer, here you go. Have a read through it, and all I want to know initially is it any good? Don't assume that it's a full marker just because I wrote it. So use the success criteria box on the right to help you decide if the answer has got everything it needs. And something that can really help you improve is to work out where other people's answers could be improved. So help me out here. What could you do to this answer to improve it and take it up to the next level? Now, in the blue box, I've put a link to the exam board's mark scheme if you need it. Now pause the video and peer assess my answer now. Now, just a quick reminder about modal verbs. These are verbs such as must, shall, will, should, would, can, could, may, and might. They're verbs that express possibility. So essentially you'd be saying, this quotation could have been used by Stevenson to show. However, it might also have been used for this reason. It just shows that you can look at one thing in multiple different perspectives. And using the modal verbs can greatly improve the depth of your analysis. I've given an example of how they can be used in the orange box. So try and use some of these modal verbs in the pink box to show multiple interpretations and multiple connotations in your analysis of today's answer. Okay, so we've planned the answer out, and all that's left to do is to actually write it. I've put basically everything that you need on this slide. There's a success criteria on the right, a list of things that your paragraph should include in the blue box. Now, we spent roughly 15 minutes planning the answer earlier, so that gives us 30 minutes left. And if your teacher has told you that you get extra time in your exams, you can use this extra time here too. So what I would do is aim for one paragraph that focuses on the extract, a second paragraph that focuses on the novel as a whole, so quotations from anywhere else in the novel, and if you get time, a third paragraph on a bullet point of your choosing. Now pause the video and get started. Good luck. Now take a few minutes and read over your answer. Double check it's got everything in there that you need to get your target grade. Check the success criteria. Check your list from slide 5. Check your copy of the mark scheme. And make sure there are no silly mistakes in there. And if you skipped assessing my answer earlier, now's the time to go back and complete that task. Time to self-assess. Take a highlighter and a different coloured pen and label where your answer hits the success criteria below. Which of those bullet points would you say is the thing that you need to work on and improve on for next time? Pause the video, complete the self-assessment task, and then use the yellow box to write your teacher a nice little letter. Final task. On a scale of 1 to 10, how scary would you say that Jekyll and Hyde actually is? to a modern day audience. Think of 1 being something that is perfectly fine to read to a toddler just before they go to sleep. And think of 10 as being so terrifying that you can't sleep anymore because you're scared that Hyde will haunt your dreams. And then just a little sentence. Explain what made you pick this particular number. And that's it for today's video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, why not like and subscribe? And if there's any other topics that you want lessons on, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and happy revising.